Testing 1, 2, 3. This is not the beginning of the program. This is us testing 1, 2, 3.
Oh, thank you. I was like, I thought I had that like serious face. I mean, disappear. Thank you.
I'd like to thank Andy Jurek, who's been playing the classical guitar for us. I personally love his music, and he is gifting his music to us this night. So welcome to First Congregational United Church of Christ. I am Pastor Bruce, the interim pastor of this church. We welcome all of you here. We apologize that it's a bit warm. We have a geothermal system that keeps the building cool in summer and warm in winter, and there are gremlins in our system. Sometimes it just doesn't work the way we want it to. Down in the Friendship Hall, there is a little bit more coolness. It's below us, and this should be getting streamed down to the screen down there. So if heat becomes a problem, feel free to go downstairs. Now, heat may not be our only problem. Sometimes we find we need a restroom. If you go through these doors to my right and your left, you will find up on this level 2 gender-neutral bathrooms. If you go downstairs into the Friendship Hall, you will find 2 restrooms that are multi-stalled and labeled. As a just peace-oriented congregation, we stand with all of you this night in our concern for health care, and that all individuals might have access to quality, affordable, and holistic health care. We also stand with the powerless and know that sometimes there need to be groups, individuals, organizations that speak up for those who feel that they have minimal power. So thank you. Thank you to trying to help to make for a more equitable system. So let us enter into this sacred time and space, aware that as a group we have a diversity of thoughts, opinions, and beliefs regarding the holy. And yet tonight, we're united in a spirit of concern for individuals and families who have experienced unnecessary pain and loss.
Evening. Do you mean it? Good evening. We are so thankful that we are here. We're not necessarily thankful that we have to be here, but we thank God and thank the universe that we have the opportunity to be here and to be together. You'll hear shortly Jamila's accent, and you might then understand why she's not red and sweating like me, coming from Caribbean. So I feel with all those fanning. But we got some heat here, and it's going to cook up some good trouble. My name is Rob Stevens with the Patients Union, and have been here. Well, Pastor Bruce, I have 2 siblings that went to school here, so I know a different type of Asheville when I came here to have fun. But I've had a lot more fun the past few months, and also had heartbreaking listening to the stories of people here in Asheville who have been failed by the healthcare system, and the heroic efforts of healthcare workers to, despite all odds, fight back and to deliver the best care they can. We're going to have a beautiful evening together, and we're going to open up, introduce some storytellers who have had some experiences here, and then Sister Crystal is going to lead us through a collective action or work, and then we'll have a call to action at the end. But I want you to be welcome, to breathe, and know that you are not alone, that we have come together to do something special here in this place. And so welcome. And we also know that we are building on the legacy and the work of many other groups and organizations and people who have been fighting back against the HCA takeover of Mission and the corporatized healthcare system that makes billions of dollars off our bodies. So welcome to this evening.
Hey everybody, I'm Jamila Headley. I'm the Executive Director at the Patients Union, and I am so grateful to be with y'all tonight. You're going to hear a lot more from me later, so I won't say much now, but I do really want to thank Pastor Bruce, Kathleen, the entire team here at First Congregational Church who have been awesome and who are hosting us. Andy, and then there are many of you, and I see faces that I recognize, and I see new faces to me, but whose names I recognize because people flyered this city, people made calls, people talked to loved ones who had experienced things at HCA, people talked to coworkers, to their siblings, to their grandparents, and people really got the word out to have this gathering tonight where we can actually really share our grief in this moment, but also more importantly talk about what's next and what we can build together. And so I'm so grateful to all of you who already put sweat and labor into bringing us together in this room, and I'm really grateful to you all who showed up here tonight. Welcome to this space. We think this is sacred space wherever we are sharing our grief, sharing our stories. That is a holy act, so it feels really apt to be in a church, actually, even if you're not religious, to do that holy thing. Yeah.
Yes, and they say that the shortest distance between two people is a story. And so that's where we're going to go right now and hear from people who have been in this system, who have been affected by it, and also who are doing miraculous, heroic work to push back. And so I invite you to open your hearts to these stories before we even get into why a patients union and some of the ideas we have. Our first is our fearless leader in the nurses union, Sister Lori Hedrick, if you would come up.
Hi, everyone. I do believe you can hear me. Okay. So again, I'm Lori Hedrick. I'm a wound nurse at Mission Hospital. I've been there since 2014. And I'm a proud nurse representative for my union, the National Nurses Organizing Committee. So I can't help but to come up here and do union speak. So my story might be a little bit different than some of the other stories, but I really want to thank the patient union. I'm feeling so grateful for the organization of the patient union, and thank you so much for inviting me to join you in this fight. I want to thank you all for coming together with us tonight to recognize the loss of patient lives and to grieve the current state we are in at Mission Hospital. All of us here tonight have a unique opportunity to change the landscape of healthcare in Western North Carolina. We have the perfect storm forming. We have nurses who kicked off this fight in 2019 when we organized our union after HCA bought our hospital. And we became the only private sector hospital in the state to form a union. Yeah. And there was another organization, Reclaim Healthcare, that formed, and dozens of physicians are working together to improve patient care, and that's been a great force. And now entering the room is the Patients Union, which is working directly with patients in our community to build more power and to advocate for the patients. The nurses at Mission continue to demand safe care for everyone, regardless of immigration status or whether they come from a community of color, regardless of their credit score. Every person should have access to quality, affordable health care. It all started in 2018 when HCA made the decision to purchase Mission Hospital. For that, Mission was a highly successful nonprofit organization. It was a place that prioritized human lives over the life of corporate dollars and shareholder value. Many of us here remember the way things used to be, and we do grieve that loss. HCA could not be more different than our old Mission was. The administration at HCA admitted that they never actually promised to provide quality care to our patients. They openly admitted that. That wasn't one of the conditions that they had to uphold when they bought Mission. Clearly, they bought our community hospital for the sole purpose of turning a profit. And boy, does it show. Month after month, we see the consequences. Mission Hospital has been placed in immediate jeopardy by federal inspectors 4 times since they bought us out. This is the most severe sanction a hospital can face, because time and again, patients went to the hospital to get care only to unexpectedly lose their lives. But while patients suffered and families were devastated, Mission Hospital saw its profits soar. It went from a hospital that was making $20 million to a hospital that is making $200 million. It is the same number of beds. It's the same patient population. It's a different owner. On top of the devastation that HCA brought to Western North Carolina, unfortunately, the Trump administration has been an addition to the devastation we will very soon be seeing in our hospital. We're going to see tens of thousands of the most vulnerable members of our community lose access to health care when they are kicked off Medicaid. A program that Mission Hospital nurses fought so hard to expand. We were so close. We were there with Medicaid expansion, and then this happened. We're going to see more patients, more, forced to make unnecessary choices. Do I go to the hospital for treatment? Or do I pay for my housing and food and utilities? The Department of Health and Human Services and the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid have failed to hold HCA accountable in meaningful ways. Accountability matters, and we are here to hold HCA and the Trump administration accountable for their failures, because no one else is. The grief that we feel often leads to anger. And I think many of us that take care of patients every day are feeling very angry. And so I have to remind myself that I have to turn that anger into action. We're not waiting for regulators to save our hospital, because we know the real power comes from all of us. We have the power to force HCA to safely staff our hospital. We have the power to force HCA to retain bedside nurses. We have the power to force them to allow us to take a meal break, to prevent healthcare fatigue. And we have the power to force them to provide enough basic supplies and working equipment to safely care for our patients. The good news is change is possible, and we have seen it, and we have done it. We have already made Mission Hospital safer for our patients and our profession. Because of our collective pressure, we have forced HCA to implement new staffing grids with safer patient ratios. We forced them to add security at entrances. We forced them to provide market adjustment pay increases so we can retain our nurses. HCA has a long way to go, but with all of your help, we will get them there. HCA can do more, and we will force them to. Thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight. Thank you for committing to be a part of the solution to fix our broken healthcare system. Together, we can force HCA to remember that healthcare is a human right. Everyone deserves access to good healthcare. We will continue to fight this together.
Thank you, Lori. That's so powerful, and I'm so grateful that we have strong nurses like Lori and the Nurses Union really fighting for patients. I want to invite Hansi Black. Hansi Black is a member of the Asheville Area Tenants Union, and just to share her testimony and her experience with HCA.
Hi. Ooh, that's a lot of people. Okay. Hi, my name is Hansi. I was born in Bristol, Tennessee, but I came to Asheville when I was 5. This is home. I'm a member of the Asheville Area Tenants Union, and I'm here because I also struggle as a patient to get the health care I needed. I've known Mission Hospital for a long time. I gave birth to all 5 of my kids there, and back then it was great. I had my last child a while ago, 2005. In 2020, I had a mastectomy at Mission Hospital, and I was given the wrong procedure. As a result, I had been in wound care for 6 years because I still have an open wound. Living with an open wound for so long has impacted my life in big and small ways because I can't do basic things like a bubble bath, go to the ocean, swimming pool, hot tub. But most importantly, just dealing with open wounds for years. It's painful, it's exhausting, and it's depressing. What makes this even harder is that in Asheville, if you have cancer or need hospital care, there really is nowhere else to go but Mission. Like everything associated with cancer has to do with Mission. The structural problem is bigger than one bad experience when a hospital is focused on money over care and patients lose power. Staff get stretched thin, people stop being listened to, communities are left with fewer choices and less dignity. That's way too many people in Western North Carolina are experiencing right now. That is why I wanted to share my story tonight. This is why we need a patients union. We need patients and families to have a choice. We need to stand together, not one by one. We need to be able to say our healthcare system should answer to the people it is supposed to serve. We deserve safe care, quality care, and dignity. We deserve to be heard, and when care fails us, we deserve the power to organize and demand better. I'm sharing my story because this should not keep happening. Not to me, not to you, not to anyone else in this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Hansi. Yeah, that shouldn't have happened to you. I'm sorry that happened to you. And you are not alone. You're not alone. I want to invite Ann Cortez, who I've gotten to know a little bit over these months and feel so grateful to. So to share with you.
Thank you. It'll take me just a minute to get situated here. This is a wobbly sort of, how do I sound? Can you hear me okay? Is this good? Okay. How's that? I'll be listing over to this side of the room a little bit. I apologize. And there goes my listing podium. I can hold the podium. It'll give me something to do with my hands since I didn't practice my hand gestures before. Okay. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for inviting me, Jamila and Rob. In the Hunger Games, some people get chosen, some people survive, some people are sacrificed, and the people watching all of that learn to look away. They filmed that movie right here in these mountains. In 2024, standing in a hallway at Mission Hospital, looking at a brain scan that told me my husband Jose was dying, I understood. We are living the Hunger Games right here, right now, in Western North Carolina. Given only 2 years to live, Jose defied the odds for more than 15 years after his diagnosis with a high-grade malignant brain tumor. 15 years of surgery, radiation, chemotherapy, physical therapy, speech therapy, our beloved Western North Carolina Brain Tumor Support Group, and countless miles on a mountain mobility bus. For all of those 15 years, Jose received palliative care through 4 seasons. For 8 of those years, a 4 Seasons provider was embedded at Mission Hospital and was a critical part of his care, someone who knew him, knew his history, and knew exactly what he needed. After HCA took over, that 4 Seasons provider disappeared. The research on this is clear. This type of embedded care results in better outcomes, higher patient satisfaction, higher staff satisfaction, fewer deaths, and over a 50% decrease in cost per patient. HCA didn't remove 4 Seasons because there was evidence that supported that decision. And having 4 Seasons there didn't cost HCA a dime. Given the overwhelming patient, provider, and staff benefits, why did HCA kick 4 Seasons out of Mission? I'll never know the answer to that question. In January 2024, Jose was taken by ambulance to Mission due to concerning neurological symptoms. His caregiver called. I rushed home from work to pack medication lists, snacks, water, blankets, adult diapers. The last time we were at Mission, staff spent hours hunting down basic supplies. I had learned to pack like I was going somewhere remote because I knew that once I got there, it wouldn't be safe for me to leave Jose alone. I walked in wanting to be a partner. I wanted things to go as well as they possibly could for Jose, for me, and for the overburdened staff. Instead, I walked into hell. Jose was moaning, lurching off the bed, his right side paralyzed, his left hand groped and groped into thin air. His eyes were filled with terror, fixed on something only he could see. I asked for neurology. I asked for any provider. I asked for pain medication. I asked, why is he not getting fluids? I asked, who is making his care decisions? Again and again, the answer was some version of, I don't have access to that information. I don't see where that's been ordered. Hours passed as he continued to writhe in agony, one medication order away from relief. I prayed, I sang, I used pressure points, I tried to match my breathing to his breathing, trying to will his nervous system to follow mine so he could have some relief. But I could never reach him. Then his condition changed. His fever spiked to 105 in less than 30 minutes. He's still unreachable, but now lies motionless with his eyes closed. The charge nurse was finally able to get an order for fever-reducing medication, but nothing else. Why could the nursing staff never respond to my requests for the name of the provider in charge? Why did Jose not receive the standard of care treatment for patients with a brain bleed? I'll never know the answer to those questions. I have to breathe. It's hot in here. I'm getting nervous. 2 hours after his change of status, another CAT scan was done. 2 hours after that, there was a knock on the door. I opened it, and finally I saw a provider, a man in surgical scrubs. Down the hall, 2 others raced around the corner. Introductions: neurology, neurosurgery, interventional radiology. Clearly all straight from the operating room. It clicked. These 3 exhausted men were the only neurology care available at the only designated trauma center serving all of Western North Carolina. 18 counties, over 1 million people, 3 exhausted providers. We stepped into the hall and they pulled Jose's CT up on a monitor. I had been looking at Jose's brain scans for 15 years. I knew the landscape of that man's brain. When Jose arrived at Mission, there was a dime-sized bleed. After hours in neuro ICU with no preventive intervention, even with a shunt, his brain is now drowning in blood. Maybe if his pain and fever and dehydration had been addressed, the bleed would have evolved differently. Maybe if 4 Seasons was embedded at Mission, Jose would still be alive. I'll never know the answer to those questions. But what I do know is that I hope this never happens to you or to your family. You may get a good nurse, or you may get nobody. Your family member may get discharged safely, or they may get lost in the system while you spend hours not knowing where they are. You may get that shift where someone saves your life, or the shift where nobody ever shows up. And those of us who live in Western North Carolina never know on which side that coin will fall. Throughout that day and evening, our daughters Laura and Natalie were with us by phone. After we understood that Jose was approaching his final days on earth, we snuggled, sang, shared stories, and held each other across the distance as best we could. Later that night, not wanting to disturb us with a call, our daughter Natty sent a text message. I opened it up on my phone to discover that she had poured her heart into recording a beautiful song to give us some solace. In that moment, in that hospital room, HCA did not own the space. Our love owned that space. Our love is not a weakness. Love is a resistance to a dehumanizing system that tries to keep us numb. And we are here tonight to say we are grieving, but we are not numb. We are here tonight because we refuse to look away. We are here because Jose deserved better. Every single person in this room deserves better. Every single person in Western North Carolina deserves better. Here in these mountains, we know how to take care of each other through every hardship, through every illness, and through every storm. We are here because safe, quality health care should not depend on a coin toss. We are here because we believe that something different is possible. HCA counted on us being too scared, too numb, and too grieved to show up, yet here we all are. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for honoring Jose, Natalie, Laura, and I with your presence and with your witness. Before I go, I want to share a bit of the song our daughter Natty sent to us in the final days of Jose's life.
I remember tears streaming down your face when I said I'll never let you go. When all those shadows almost killed your life. I remember you said, don't leave me here alone. But all that's dead and gone and past tonight. Just close your eyes. The sun's going down.
I'm sorry.
You'll be alright. No one can hurt you now. Come morning light, you and I'll be safe and sound.
Somebody's hurting my sister, and it's gone on far too long. Yes, it's gone on. Yes, it's gone on far too long. Somebody's hurting my sister, and it's gone on far too long. And we won't be silent anymore. Somebody's hurting our nurses, and it's gone on far too long. Yes, it's gone on far too long. Yes, it's gone on far too long. Somebody's hurting our nurses, and it's gone on far too long. And we won't be silent anymore. One more. Somebody's hurting our patients, and it's gone on far too long. Yes, it's gone on far too long. Yes, it's gone on far too long. Somebody's hurting our patients, and it's gone on far too long. And we won't be silent anymore. And we won't be silent anymore. Thank you, Anne. You're not alone. Those words of that song, written by our sister Yara Allen, the theomusicologist here from North Carolina. That feels like the truth of why we're here tonight. Someone is hurting our sisters, our brothers, our parents, our children, our neighbors, our nurses, our patients, our elders, our friends. Someone's hurting the people of Western North Carolina, and it's gone on for far too long. My name is Jamila Headley, as I said earlier, and I'm the executive director of the Patients Union. I live here in North Carolina, in Durham, a couple hours away, and I'm grateful to be here with you tonight. We are here tonight to grieve the state of Mission Hospital, and I want to name what that means. We are grieving more than a building, more than an institution, more than a hospital system. We're grieving what happens when a place that people depended on, a place built to care for a community, is turned into a profit machine. Mission used to be one of the premier medical centers in the country. For generations, people in Western North Carolina trusted that when they were sick and when they were scared, when their families were in crisis, Mission would be there. And then HCA took over. Since HCA bought Mission, profit margins have more than doubled. Staffing has fallen, nurses and other healthcare workers have been stretched past what is safe. Patients have waited in hallways and overcrowded emergency rooms. Doctors have left. Patients and families have suffered. Mission now has fewer nurses and staff per patient than most other hospitals in the state and in our region. Nearly all of Mission's cancer doctors left within a few years of the sale.
Patient experience ratings are among the worst in the country. State inspectors found patients going without basic bathing or clean linens during weeks-long stays a few years ago. Charity care had dropped. Admission has been placed, as you heard from Lori, in immediate jeopardy by the federal government 4 times in the past 7 years because of patient safety concerns tied to HCA's management. I just want you to know that that is not normal. That is not inevitable, and it is not an accident. That is a business model. A business model that says fewer staff means more profit. Longer waits mean more money. Less charity care means more profit. Patients in hallways, nurses pushed to the brink, doctors driven out, families terrified, and somehow at the end of all of that, somebody makes a profit. That's what we're grieving tonight. We're grieving the care that people did not receive. We are grieving the workers who were ignored. We're grieving the patients who were treated as costs instead of human beings. We're grieving what mission was, what it meant to the region, and what HCA has done to it. But we're also here because the story is bigger than mission. I come at this work predominantly as a patient. 20 years ago, I was really suddenly paralyzed from the waist down due to a neurological illness. That would have been bad enough, but I was uninsured at the time. I experienced and have experienced many times over the years since all the ways that this healthcare system stands in the way of patients getting what they need. So mission is one of the clearest examples in this country of what is going wrong in American healthcare, but it is not the only example. Everywhere we look, patients are being forced to navigate a system that is expensive, that is confusing, that is cruel, that is isolating. A system where life-saving care can be delayed, denied, or made unaffordable, while corporations rake in record profits. A system where someone somewhere is making a profit when you don't get the care you need. We feel it when a prescription is out of reach. Just 2 weeks ago, I spent many hours fighting with my insurance company, only to be denied again and again for a medication I need. We feel it when a claim is denied. We feel it when we spend hours on the phone with an insurance company. We feel it when a medical bill arrives and we cannot understand it, let alone pay it. We feel it when a family is forced to choose between treatment and rent, between medicine and groceries, between getting care and surviving the month. And I want to be very clear, that is not because patients failed. It's not because we failed that we feel it. It is not because we didn't try hard enough. It is because the system, in this system, profit is too often put ahead of people's lives. And here is the part that should make every one of us angry. The people making those decisions, they are not alone. Insurance companies, they're organized. Hospital corporations like HCA, they are organized. Pharmaceutical giants, they are organized. They have lobbyists, they have lawyers, they have executives, they have trade associations, they have real political power. They negotiate, they set the terms, they shape the rules. And the people whose lives are on the line, all of us, we're expected to face all of that alone. That is the injustice at the heart of our healthcare system, a profound imbalance of power. Because I know that when one side is organized and the other side is not, the outcome is always predictable. And we're living that outcome every single day. So the question is not just what is wrong with mission, because there's a lot wrong with mission. We've already heard some of it. The question is, why haven't the people most affected by this healthcare system ever had the power to shape it? That is why we are building a patients' union. We've been scheming about building something new, a kind of union for patients, and you heard and saw that right, a union for patients, something that does not already exist, but that should, something that can deliver the power patients need to get the healthcare we deserve. When most people hear the word union, they think about workers coming together in a workplace to demand fair wages and safe conditions and dignity, like Lori was talking about. And that's exactly right, because at its core, a union is really simple. It is people who share a common experience organizing together to build power so that they can change the conditions that shape their lives every day. The Patients Union is built on that idea. But instead of a workplace, our shared experience is even more universal. It's having bodies. It's needing care. It's being patients. It's loving people who need care. It's navigating the healthcare system. It's feeling the impact of decisions that we did not make.
Every single one of us will depend at some point on this healthcare system, if you haven't already. Every one of us has a body. Every one of us gets sick. Every one of us loves someone who has a stake in this fight. And what we know is that whenever we are patients, we are often made to feel alone. Alone with the diagnosis, alone with the bill, alone on hold with our insurance company, alone in the emergency room, alone trying to figure out what happened to the hospital our community used to count on. But we are not alone, and you are not alone. That is one of the first things a patient's union has to teach us. If you remember nothing else from tonight, I want you to know this. Whenever you are a patient, you are not alone. When your care is denied, you are not alone. When the bill comes and you don't know how you will pay it, you are not alone. When your local hospital is taken over, stripped down, turned against the community it was supposed to serve, you are not alone. You are not alone. This is what the Patients Union is for. It is a place where our personal struggles become public demands. It is a place where the person fighting a hospital bill, the nurse trying to care for too many patients, the family waiting in the ER, the cancer patient who lost their doctor, the neighbor in a small town who is afraid that their care will disappear, all begin to see that these are not separate problems. They're connected, and so are we. It is a place where we turn our grief into collective action and our solidarity into power. And I believe that this work can start here, right here in Western North Carolina, right down the street from Mission Hospital, one of HCA's most profitable hospitals. Patients in Western North Carolina deserve power. Power to demand safe staffing, power to demand real accountability from HCA, power to demand charity care for people who cannot pay, power to demand emergency care that works, power to demand that hospitals serve patients and communities and not shareholders, power to say you do not get to take a public good and extract everything you can from it and leave a community to destroy to grieve what you destroyed. A patients' union, I believe, is part of how we get there. It is how we stop fighting alone and start standing together. It is how a denial becomes not just your problem, but our fight. It is how a hospital bill becomes not just your shame, but our collective demand. It is how what happened at Mission becomes not just a tragedy, but a turning point in our state and in our country. We grieve what HCA has done to Mission. We grieve the patients who were failed. We grieve the workers who were ignored. We grieve the public good that was sold off and stripped down. But we do not grieve as spectators. We are not spectators. We grieve as people who are ready to organize, because somebody's hurting our people. Someone's hurting our patients. Someone is hurting this community, and it has gone on for far too long. So from this night forward, let this be our promise, that we will not be silent anymore, that we will not let patients suffer alone, that we will not let corporations profit from our pain without a fight. We will not accept a healthcare system where people making money are organized, but the people whose lives are on the line every day are left to face it by themselves. Anything this powerful will be called unrealistic, right up until the moment that it exists and it is strong. But every system that exists today was built by people who decided to organize, and now it's our turn. So I want to ask you, what are you willing to do starting tonight to build a force strong enough to take on the people profiting from our pain, to take on HCA, to take on Mission, a force that will fight for us, a force that will have our backs, a force that can win a healthcare system that we deserve? This is what it looks like to begin, I think. You decide that you want to be part of this. We don't have the full map. We figure it out together. Decide that you're not going back to being alone. Join the Patients Union. Help us build a Patients Union for Western North Carolina. Bring one more person into the fight, because alone we will struggle to be heard, but together we can become impossible to ignore. And when patients organize, when communities organize, and when we refuse to be silent, I really believe that we can win. Thank you for being here.
Let the church say amen. So we know that what we build is just as important as how we build it. And so I want to invite Sister Crystal Reed to come forward to lead us, for all of us to participate. The word story comes from the same place as storehouse. It's a very good place to store things, and very convenient things. Some of you have some elder members in your family who you ask a very straightforward yes or no question, and what do you get? A story. Usually they're telling you about yourself during that. And so what we want to do now is to do a little bit of that and invite some participation, and Crystal's going to lead us through that.
We might want to put that in there.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be great.
Great.
Thank you so very much. Thank you all for coming in this evening. This is so powerful and so meaningful to me, this common unity that we are sharing this evening. My name is Crystal Reed. I'm coming to you because I want to be a powerful part of this union in helping engage. We are not alone. We're in the building tonight. I appreciate everyone for accepting me as I stand before you. We've all heard some powerful testimonies already. Tonight, I want you all to engage. We all get to be a part of the program, which is very pertinent in this mission that we are on. As you entered, you received a blank card with a prompt on either side that kind of looks like this. And a pen. If you don't have this card and pen, please raise your hand and we will get one to you. I see some hands raised. Common unity. Here we are. Yes. In a moment, we're going to take a few minutes to write, and Andy will be playing some of his beautiful music in the background again. I'll give just a second as everyone receives their cards with their hands held. Wonderful. Wonderful. It's so much positive energy in here. I can feel it in the air. All right, so on the purple side of the card is a prompt that says, one thing I and/or a loved one has been grieving about navigating the healthcare system is, and so I want you to take a few moments to share what you're grieving about on that side. And then on the green side of the card it says, a time I and/or a loved one felt deeply cared for in the healthcare system was. And so if you could take a few moments to share a time you actually felt like you were cared for well. We are asking folks to take 5 or so minutes to fill out both sides. Don't write your name on the card, just your testimony. To thine own self be true. And then we're going to have some holy chaos. And we'll pass our cards around the sanctuary so that you end up with someone else's card. And it is by that point anonymous. Then we'll ask you to pair up with someone. Ideally, we want you to pair up with someone that you do not know. And take turns reading both sides of the card that lands in your hand. We'll take a few moments for that sharing, and then we'll service from the room some of the stories. Later, you'll have the opportunity to place these sacred stories on a memorial wall as you leave the sanctuary. Thank you all for your time.
You just take about 30 more seconds to finish your thought. And I invite some volunteers to go to the back to be able to run something to the front. I was recommending we make paper airplanes, but that was nixed. This is, if you could just start passing it backwards, and people in the front will get it from the back, and just make sure it moves 4 times. And if you get them in the back, just run them up to the front. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, we have some up here for the people in the front. Great. I think I see a stack right here. And now, if you don't have a card and you would like one, if you could raise your hand. If you don't have someone else's card yet. Yeah, we're going to pass those out too. Yep. Just raise your hand if you don't have a card. So we'll take them. Pass this down. Just one. Anyone else? You got one? Where? All right. Anyone else? All right, wonderful. All right, now you're going to find a friend. We don't need, maybe you might need to turn behind you because that's probably not the person you came with. But we also, if you don't feel like moving, that's fine too. And if you would take a few minutes just to read the purple one, and then the green one. Once you've finished, if you could just look up. All right. I see people. If you, I know there's some doctors in here who probably can read some of that writing. If you need, and nurses who have to actually read the writing. All right. Have we started to get through it? What? We need a minute, 2 minutes. know there wasn't that much space to even write on those cards. All right, take about 30 seconds more. All right, so what we want to do now is actually to invite some surfacing from the room. And if you haven't quite finished, that's okay. Because as someone said, we want to get to it. And I'm just going to keep making some noise that doesn't make any real sense or is relevant at all until people are confused why these words are happening and start to look up here. All right, so what we want to do now is to have people lift up the purple side first, and we're doing that on purpose. And I love that you're doing it physically, but I actually mean it like to say it out loud. If anyone has one or heard one that they want to read out loud, and we don't want necessarily for any description over it, but just to let the story speak for itself. Does anybody feel compelled to read the purple? Yep.
No providers in network for HCA employees for almost over a year. Then not being able to afford the bills that come in the mail for the care provided. The frustration I feel taking care of patients and not being able to spend the time with them that they need.
My dad was diagnosed with stage 4 prostate cancer. He thought he was getting his PSA screened at his annual checkups. It turned out that insurance companies decided that too many men get prostate cancer diagnoses. This slow-moving cancer could have been caught years before it was. Now it's incurable.
Not alone.
Working at an HCA facility and watching an amazing team fall apart due to bad management and corporate greed.
Not alone.
This one's a little hard to read, but it's got a great message. The amount of vulnerable, unnamed, unclaimed people whom we have lost to for-profit healthcare. The true numbers of death, or rather murder, that have been imposed by HCA, other corporations/interests, are staggering, particularly the homeless, addicted, undocumented, and others will need voices.
The fear I feel when I'm obliged to go to the ER, scared about my medical emergency and hysterical to have to go to mission. No, anywhere, please, and having to go there anyway. It's not right to be so fearful of not only needing medical care, but terrified to go to the only place to get it.
I have 2 chronic, severe genetic illnesses that take up a lot of energy, money, and time to manage. Since 2/26, we have been fighting Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina for coverage for a life-changing spine surgery for a condition that will paralyze me. I grieve the county of my birth would rather me dead than disabled, and the insurance company supposed to help me is actively blocking me from preventing either outcome.
The suffering a simple delay caused a parent in her final days, a bureaucratic delay of transferring prescriptions to the hospital. Transferring to hospice led to great pain to her, and my wife witnessed it.
So we hold these stories, and we know that the only good thing about these terrible things that happen is what Ann brought us, is the ability to try to help someone else not happen to them. Now I invite you all to, and we will have an opportunity to put this in a memorial wall as we walk out that you'll see where we have some refreshments too. I'd like to invite some green stories.
During an emergency room visit before HCA took over Mission, a nurse I knew came into my room and validated my reason for being there and showed me care.
You are not alone.
I had back surgery when I was 14. During the week I spent in the hospital, I was well taken care of by every provider.
After a cancer diagnosis, my surgeon spent an hour with me explaining my options.
I'm going to bend the rule a little bit. The individual had shared about challenges as a transgender person in the ER and their positive experience. I feel cared for by Minnie Jones Clinic 100%. And by my primary care doctor, Jennifer Abbott.
One more.
Here we felt cared for when our children were born at Mission in 2002. In 2005, Four Seasons Hospice also, personal connection and friendship.
So in part, by the leadership of Ann, we added that second part to this. We've been organizing around patients' tables, and you'll learn more about those that we invite people to host in your living room or at a cafe to do this process. And what we noticed is that there's a very different answer to the first question than to the second question. And the difference is who's talked about. We didn't plan it, but every time, the thing that we're grieving about the system is the system that's not working for us. That's actually working like it was designed, but it's about this system that we all know hurt some people more than others, but hurt all of us, that is more dangerous for Black and brown people, for trans people, and yet is dangerous for all of us. And on the green side, we hear about people. We hear about the nurse, we hear about the doctor, we hear about the person who cared deeply. And that's why we know Lori and others who have organized with not only nurses, but techs and sitters and all of the other folks who make it run, that the power and the muscle memory is there. As I invite Leslie and Evan to come and talk a little bit about this Patients Local, people have been telling us over and over again, researchers saying that what happened at Mission Hospital in Western North Carolina is the poster child for everything that's wrong with healthcare. Like everything that's wrong with healthcare went wrong here. Like you almost can't find, someone asked for other examples of how HCA has done it. I mean, they've been bad everywhere, and they've been bad for a long time, but to buy an unregulated monopoly with this specific geography is a perfect storm, that they've built a cash cow out of Mission Hospital, off of all of your bodies. The second most profitable in the largest for-profit hospital system in the country. But what I think we've learned here is that it is not only the poster child of what's wrong, that Western North Carolina is the poster child of the very wrong community to pick. That there's something here in Western North Carolina that we don't have in other places, the resources, not only having the only nurses union, because that puts us 10 miles ahead already, but having the muscle memory from Helene, of people knowing what it feels like to take care of each other, of responding to I don't know if we can call it natural disaster anymore, climate change, but so-called natural disaster in a beautiful way that we hear over and over again. Now, can we flex those same muscles to respond to this human-made disaster with all the history and legacy and people who prayed us and loved us to where we are right now? And so that's where we're going to invite you to be a part as well.
My name is Evan Richardson, and I'm with the North Carolina Poor People's Campaign, representing the Western Circle.
I'm Leslie Boyd. I'm the co-chair with Evan of the Western Circle, and I'm one of the state tri-chairs for the North Carolina Poor People's Campaign.
Tonight, we came here to grieve, to say the names, to tell our stories, to tell the truth. We came to hold each other in a place where too many people have been abandoned, harmed, dismissed, and left to carry pain alone. Grief matters, but grief by itself is not enough. Grief without power leaves us alone with our pain. When we grieve together, we see that what happened to us was not just an isolated incident. It was not just a glitch. It was not just one family's tragedy or one patient's fight. When we grieve together, we begin to really see how inhumane and how unjust our healthcare system is. And when we turn that grief into action, when we refused to carry it alone, when we come together, when we organize, this is how we build the power to change things. And this is why we want to tell you about the Patients Union and ask you to join us tonight.
The grief we all named in this room tonight is not the result of personal failure. It's not because we didn't ask the right question. It's not because we or our loved ones didn't fight hard enough. It's not because you didn't understand the bill or the form or the insurance letter or the hospital policy. It is because this system was built to make patients feel powerless. I want to introduce you to my younger son, Michael, who was born on my birthday, November 3rd, in 1974. He was born with a birth defect, and before the ACA was passed, he could not get insurance because a birth defect was a pre-existing condition. He was treated like a criminal. He was treated like he was dirty. And when he got sick, he was kicked to the curb. He was ignored. He begged for help. They demanded cash he didn't have. He finally tried to get Medicaid. He had to leave his wife. He had to divorce his wife to get Medicaid. Then he waited 37 months, and he was dead 9 days before his first check came. His brother, my only other child, died May 11th. And they should both still be here. This has taken everything from me. I don't have children anymore. And so I want to fight now because a lot of you do have children, and I don't want yours to die the way mine did. I want all of us to get the care we need. My boys were very precious. They were very special. They were loving, they were kind, they were funny, and they should still be here. and it's a crime. My children were murdered by public policy. Every year, 65,000 Americans die because of murder by public policy. That's 1 every 8 minutes. Every 8 minutes, another human being breathes their last because of our broken system. If we join together, we can defeat this. We can change this. We can build a system that makes us powerful. I felt the powerlessness before when my sons, both of them, were dying. And I know a lot of you have too. That feeling, that anger, the heartbreak, the exhaustion, it does belong here, but it doesn't have to end here.
Leslie, you are not alone. What is happening at Mission is not happening in a vacuum. HCA came into this community and has treated our hospital like an ATM on steroids. They have made decisions that put money ahead of patients, nurses, workers, and families, and people are paying the price. But Mission is not the only place where this is happening. All across this country, hospitals are being seen as places to extract profit. Insurance companies are denying care. People are rationing medication. Families are drowning in medical debt. Patients are being sent home too soon, charged too much, believed too late, and blamed for a system that is failing them. It is the same logic everywhere. Profit over patients, profit over care, profit over our lives.
None of us can fix that alone. No grieving mother, no exhausted nurse, no patient fighting a denial, no caregiver sitting beside a hospital bed can take on the systems themselves. I know, I tried. You can't. But together, we're not powerless. Together, as patients, as neighbors, as caregivers, as people who love this community, we have the power they do not expect us to have. That is what the Patients Union is. It's a home for everyone who's been denied, dismissed, overcharged, ignored, discharged too soon, or forced to fight for care they should have received without that fight. It is for everyone who has sat on the phone with an insurance company begging for an answer, everyone who's opened a bill they couldn't pay, everyone who's watched someone they love suffer while corporations made money, everyone who knows deep down that it doesn't have to be this way. And that's most of us. And if that's most of us, then we should not be alone. We should be organized.
We are just getting started in Western North Carolina, and we need the people in this room to help build it. So tonight we are asking you to become a founding member of the Patients Union, Western North Carolina. When you came in, you received a membership card that looks like this. We're asking you to fill it in, tear off the red stub, and put it in the baskets that are going to be passed around.
We're not asking you to solve everything here tonight. We're asking you to take the first step with us, together. Sign the card, join the Patients Union, and leave here knowing that what you're carrying is not yours to carry alone anymore. We will figure this out together. Thank you.
Let's give it up for Evan and Leslie. Thank you so much for first official to become a founding member. If you don't have one of those cards and would like one, please raise your hand. Just imagine if instead of giving up on insurance denial claim that you had a union rep to call to get on the phone with you to fight the insurance company. 0.1% of insurance denials are appealed in this country, but over half of those appeals are successful. So places are actually depending on us not appealing. That's part of their business model too. Imagine if you were hungry and you didn't like Mission's food, which I've heard a little bit about, for 7 days straight, that you could call the union and see if there was someone who could come bring you a meal, who could go to a doctor's office and ask the questions if they've gone through the same thing. Might be able to call a provider just to get the right questions to ask. This is the type of concrete work that we're thinking about as we also build the power to challenge this system that's making billions of dollars off our bodies. One of the main reasons that Western North Carolina is the poster child for fighting back is the groundwork that Reclaim has done. And yes, please give it up for Reclaim Healthcare, Western North Carolina. And we have been so inspired by many people that we've met who have been doing this fight and have gotten concrete victories too, to hold HCA accountable. And so I want to invite Aaron Sarver to come forward to make an announcement on some of their powerful work as well. Let's give it up.
Thanks, Rob. A lot of amazing organizing has happened in this room. There's quite a few faces I recognize when we stood in here in 2012 with Reverend Barber. So this is a powerful sanctuary. Leslie was one of those people, and Vicki and Rob and a lot of different folks. So yeah, I work with Reclaim Healthcare WNC. I will be very brief. I know it's hot, it's getting a little late. So how do we fight back, right? We're not just here to mourn, we're here to organize tonight, right? Famous organizer said it a long time ago. So one way, very concretely, that Reclaim has been fighting back is we've been taking these stories of poor patient care and we report them to the regulators. There's 5 regulators that we report them to. I won't bore you with all of them. DHHS is the state regulator, CMS is the federal, North Carolina Attorney General, Jeff Jackson. So please go to our website, Reclaim Healthcare WNC, see our story portal, and tell us your stories if you receive poor patient care at Mission or if one of your family members did. And then what happens next is we have a team of doctors. We've got some amazing physicians that worked at Mission for a long time and vet those stories. They'll give you a call, they'll work through it. Dr. Kelly and Dr. Messino, I'm going to put them on the spot there if they'll raise their hands. They don't like it, they hate that. But these are physicians that have spoken out publicly against HCA and Mission. And so they're part of that team that helps us send these stories to the regulators. Okay, nothing's changing at Mission. We've been doing this for 2 years. What's the point? Well, the point is these immediate jeopardies that you heard about keep happening again and again and again, not to mention EMTALA violations and all kinds of acronyms we won't get into. When we get these reports from the regulators saying we found Mission and being in immediate jeopardy, which is the most severe sanction as you heard, we read those reports and we can see the cases that Reclaim sent to the regulators in those reports, so we know they're responding directly to us in Asheville and Buncombe County in Western North Carolina. So it does make a difference, and trust me, we know that Sam Hazen, who's the CEO of HCA, is very unhappy about the organizing that's happening here in Asheville and Buncombe County. So please keep fighting. Thank you for the Patients Union for organizing this wonderful event. And we can't stop fighting. As Leslie said, we just have to keep fighting until we figure out what works.
Thank you, Aaron. In a moment, we're going to close out, but we do invite you, again, to step outside. I think the refreshments are outside for the memorial wall to get to know someone and greet each other. You will get a sheet of paper that I think Claire is handing out now that gives some quick facts on the situation, some talking points, and then announces our first official local union meeting. So we haven't come up with a number yet, but we'll decide it on July 21st. Right downstairs. So we'll share a meal together at 6 p.m. There's a save the date. You'll get more information about it, but put in your calendar, that's a Tuesday. Tuesday, July 21st at, does it say 6? Yeah, 6 p.m. And bring a friend, and that's where we will do the good work of, there's actually someone out here, David Lamont, who's, y'all seen his TEDx talk, I think, probably, but he says, I have bad news for you, that change happens in committee. It's kind of sobering, but we know that there's really hard work to do, and we can do it together. So I want to invite my litany participants to come up as we close. And one of them is still handing out things. Sister Yolanda. And I think we can just all go from here. Which number are you? Which number are you? You're 3. And then Yolanda next.
All right, y'all. So we are going to be doing a litany. A litany is a collective prayer, and it's also a way of making a collective commitment. And based on the number of union cards I saw in the basket going past me, I think we are very much ready to do that here. Because as Rob said, it was a mistake to not think that the mountains were ready to organize and fight back when it means that we're going to be taking care of one another. So let's get this thing started. This is going to be a call and response. We are members of this community, as are y'all. We will make a statement, and you're going to respond by saying together with us, we are not alone. We are people with bodies. We are not alone. We have fought with insurance companies, driven past the hospital we used to trust to find care elsewhere. We are not alone. We have watched the people we love suffer unnecessarily. We are not alone.
We have been billed for care we couldn't afford or care we never received. We are not alone. When we sat in a waiting room for hours in pain and were told to wait longer, we are not alone. When we were discharged before we were ready because management decided our time was up, we are not alone.
When we were dismissed, talked over, or made to feel like we were not worth listening to, we are not alone. When the hospital that was supposed to serve this community closed its doors to the care that we needed, we are not alone. When the insurance company said no, and we didn't know we could fight back, we are not alone.
When we lost someone to a system that put profit above their life, and we still don't have answers. We are not alone. When we carried this grief quietly because no one told us there was something we. What? Wait, hold on. There's some typos. When we carried this grief quietly because no one told us there was somewhere to bring it. We are not alone. When we were exhausted and traumatized from working at Mission with understaffed teams.
We are not alone.
We know who and what is making our hospital fail our communities. An HCA CEO who made over $26 million last year while our nurses were stretched too thin to keep us safe. A hospital that is the second most profitable in HCA's network, making millions for private equity firms off of our bodies. And yet, we are nurses and patients, workers and neighbors, the faithful and the fed up. They have the money, but we have the numbers. Together, we can win the health care we deserve.
Amen, amen. And so I invite you to stand as you are able as we dismiss from this place, but certainly not from each other's spirit. That means if you want to stand up, you can. Shake yourself a little bit. We're going to step out, have some refreshments, meet each other, and talk more, and we're going to put these in the memorial wall outside. Victor Hugo is quoted to say, it's paraphrased, that all the armies in the world can't stand a chance against an idea whose time has come. An idea whose time has come is more powerful than all the armies. And the idea whose time has come is that we all deserve health care. That we all deserve, that we need a healthcare system that their first, second, and third priority aren't profits. That we have a healthcare system where the people who are impacted, who are the means of production, literally our bodies, have a say in what the quality care we have. And so as we close, we'll close with we are patients. We are not alone. When we are patients, a little louder. We are not alone. When we are patients. We are not alone. When we are patients. We are not alone. Go in peace.
Once I wrap up, if you're sticking around for a bit, I will.
Yeah.